Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Daily Football Roundup proudly brings to you the best damn podcast in the world, the 12-Ounce Curl Route Podcast. I am your host, Aaron Current. You can find me on Twitter or X at Aaron Current. My co-host, Kyle, can be found on that app at DF Roundup. And my co-host, Corey, does not have that app. What's going on, fellas? How we doing?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Corey, did you just get MySpace, or am I in your top 8 friends, or what? Are you there yet? At least?
We are not friends yet. We are not friends yet.
Okay.
I've never got a 5, by the way. So it's tight, buddy.
Yeah. Well, you might have to see if you can get me thrown on there. Happy New Year to everybody. I would say we kind of have like a special edition. We're still going to do our regular 6-pack challenge and all that stuff, but I posted earlier to quite a few different places that we've got Super Bowl champion winning quarterback Brad Johnson with us, and we actually have the Daily Football Roundup Brad Johnson Fantasy Football Invitational champion as well, Matthew Rush, with us as well. I'm sure he's gonna rub it in all of our faces because the three of us made the playoffs, and we can't win every year, and you know. I tried, right? Corey, you tried. Aaron, I don't really know what happened to you, buddy. You guys got further in the playoffs than I did. So, but I got to throw digs in where I can. But let's go ahead and bring them on real quick. And how we doing, gentlemen?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. So, Matthew, I know you sent me a little bit before the show and said that you're a displaced Washington Commanders team living in Chicago. You're in Illinois, right?
Yes.
You said that from when you were growing up, you didn't have to suffer. You suffered there for a while. And you said the best quarterback play you saw with Washington was when big, bad Brad Johnson came in, threw for 4,005 yards. Yep. I think spent, 2 seasons with Washington and said, I'm out of here. Right.
1999 super team before super teams were a super team, but we just didn't pan out. There was a botched snap, and that was it for us that year. But that was our best chance probably we had. And as a young kid growing up, I had like Gus Frerotte before that, so I didn't really get that taste of that caliber of a quarterback. And then of course we had Brad Johnson come in and dropped 4,000 when it wasn't common at all. It was more of a running league back then. And that was big for me, and it stuck with me. And he was, my guy back then. I had a buddy, Anthony Roberts. He was a big Ed McCaffrey fan. So I was a big Brad Johnson fan. And I just remember even just playing in the backyard and, imitating them and stuff like that. So it's crazy. It's surreal to be a part of this. So I appreciate all of it.
Awesome, man.
Well, congratulations on your championship. I won the 1 seed, as I said, but I was bounced in the first. I got the first round bye, and then my team wasn't ready. I don't know if they spent the weekend on the yacht or what, but they came out and they weren't ready to go, and we took the L. Congratulations on your hard-earned victory.
You were the one I was definitely worried about, man. I thought if we faced off, I was worried. At first, I was worried about Kyle.
I outscored everybody by like 300 points. What are we doing here?
Yeah, and then I got above him, and then I was like, okay, I might be able to avoid him in the playoffs, and then I got lucky. So that was nice, though. Nice little ending there, Yeah.
So you played Kyle's friend Damon in the championship round, and I looked
gave me a little gift.
Yeah, I looked back at it yesterday. He had Raheem Mostert in his starting lineup, who was inactive for the game. It still looked like you probably would have beat him even if he had changed out and fixed his lineup. But he gifted you a title, huh?
Well, I think Matt. Earlier in the season, I believe it was you that the Crusher, my 9-year-old, didn't set his lineup. And I said, look, he's 9. He forgot to set his lineup. Do you care if we make some changes for him? So
I do remember that.
I didn't want to ask again. Damon was on holiday in Hawaii, living the good life. And he said he had gotten back and finally to sleep at about 4 a.m. And he said by the time he woke up, games had already started. And
for the record, we all voted for yes. I wish I'd have voted no now, but
yes. I was fine. He's learning the game. It's all about having fun. So I want to make sure, he could do that. And I didn't mind. So,
yeah, well, big, like that's huge too, especially in the fantasy football community, is just being just kind of a steward of the game and saying like, he's 9, he doesn't know better. And it's almost fitting for you to win this championship because you weren't the person that said, "Oh no, like, no, he's got to learn his lesson the hard way," and I think it's only fitting. You will for 1 year. We will send you the championship belt. So you do get the title. I will, however, Brad and I will be back for it. We next year we're gonna win our championship back. I'm sure if you don't have one already, Brad, we could probably coordinate, get him a signed ball, probably with a Washington logo on it or something.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
But we can get you. We get you taken care of. Our champions, they get taken care of here with the fantasy. Well, I mean, Corey and I have been the champions so far, and look at the stuff that we have. So definitely want to send you a little something there. So
I tell you what, that's my favorite thing on my entire wall of awesomeness is my Brad Johnson signed Buccaneers Super Bowl football. That's my favorite thing. So
yeah, it feels great to be a champ, Matthew. Congratulations, brother. You can strut around with that belt like like a rooster, man.
Ric Flair.
No doubt. You earned it, deserved it. And for those who listen, Matthew's a great fan. He obviously kept up with me in Washington, and he helped me out here on some Twitter stuff here. So we kind of became friends on Twitter. Then he joined and then actually won in his first year. So hopefully look forward to you trying to repeat next year as a double champ.
Yeah, me too. And I appreciate you guys having me.
Hey, it was great, man. It was great having you on. And to be a longtime fan of Brad, that's pretty awesome to be able to share the same screen with him, with this technology we have these days,
And I was always a Brad Johnson fan, even when he was a Buccaneer and a Viking. But the thing was, when he was a Cowboy, I couldn't give him the Cowboy.
It didn't feel right. That did not feel right, Matthew. I'll tell you that right now, man. So I grew up a Redskins fan my whole life, and I cried when the Cowboys, Roger Staubach beat the Redskins, trying to make the playoffs back in, I think, 1979. And I had a $5 bet with my dad on who's going to win the game, and I lost, obviously. And so I came in there crying to my dad. I brought in dimes, pennies, quarters, paid him $5. My dad said, "Look like you had a hard enough day, son. Just keep your money." And but it was kind of weird playing for the Cowboys. But then so Redskins are my team. I have a hard time saying Commanders still. So
me too.
So that's kind of where we both are.
And sorry about that if I slip up or if I'm not supposed to say that or whatever. But it's
not that type of podcast, buddy. You're good.
Okay, because it's ingrained in me, man. I'm taking it to the grave. So
I got a friend of mine that's from the Washington area, and his whole family are Redskins fans, and he refuses to call them the Commanders. He'll usually just refer to them as Washington or something like that. But I don't know if that's even going to stick. There's so many things that are going on behind the scenes, and actually the Native American community seems to be upset that the Redskins name was taken away from them. Maybe the Redskins will make a comeback.
I've been trying to follow, the rename stuff really closely, and the Native American Guardians Association got a petition going, and they're going to try to sue to see what they can do. But the thing is, Josh Harris said that that ship has sailed. So who knows? Well, I guess we'll see what happens. But if, Washington can't be the Redskins, I always thought Red Wolves works because in Native American culture, reborn spirit is like a wolf. So it just makes sense. And I know there's no wolves in Washington, but there's no bears in Chicago.
Right.
So, what I mean?
I thought, if we're going to get into this real quick, I thought the Red Tails would have been a great name for obvious reasons. But Red Wolves, something like that would be fine.
Yeah.
I don't like, and I don't mean to be Debbie Downer, fact that somebody else they're going to sue against them now. Like that kind of,
Yeah, that's
they got
ridiculous.
sued so much for the other way with the horrible owner, and now they're going to get sued another way.
I think
they were trying to write,
out.
and it's. I didn't like the football team name, but at this point, they should go back to the football team just to make everybody happy.
Football team's better than Commanders, so
yeah.
I think they should have been the Washington Sentinels and brought out Keanu Reeves and just made him the face of the franchise, like in the movie The Replacements. They missed that. That movie was terribly put together, but I've seen it 150 times probably.
Oh yeah, didn't the kicker like smoke cigarettes on the field?
Yeah, smoke cigarettes on the field. He was betting on games. Keanu Reeves' character Shane Falco, who I have created in Madden before and used as my quarterback. He was kicked out of Ohio State for shaving points and stuff like that too. So it was.
Sebastian Janikowski. I should hear stories that he smoked cigarettes or something.
Oh,
Crazy.
I have one question. I have one. I have one question for Brad. Brad, I feel like this is about the 4th or 5th time I've been on. Obviously through Kyle, of course. I feel like we're buds now. Whatever. So I can ask these questions. I did ask the Warren Sapp questions originally, but I have to ask: when you were playing, was there still somebody smoking at halftime?
It only happened one time in my career. One time in Minnesota. It's a great nose tackle named Hank Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it for the Minnesota Vikings. So he was the only one who went back into the bathroom and smoked a cigarette, just kind of relaxed a little bit at halftime.
Had to get a heater real quick.
So it happened, but not very often. You know what I mean? So, but that's the only time it only happened, a cigarette, one time. So.
I got a random question too, if you don't mind, Brad. I know that you played with Terry Allen and Stephen Davis. I'm just curious if you had to pick one or the other, which one would you go with?
Love both of them. Love both.
Okay.
I didn't actually get to play with Terry. Terry, he actually played at Clemson, and so my very first year in Minnesota, I wasn't playing. Rich Gannon. Rich Gannon was the quarterback. And so he got to play with him. He was tough as nails. And then loved him though. And he actually ended up playing for the Washington Redskins. And then when I went to Washington, I had Stephen Davis. Obviously he played at Auburn, but he was Norv Turner. He was a great play caller, especially with play action with the run game. That year, Stephen Davis he ran for 1,800 yards, 1,700 yards. So our play action game, throwing the ball down the field with his running game was spectacular that year, and loved playing with him. He was smart, tough, and ended up having a great career. Ended up playing in the Super Bowl with Carolina at the end of his career. So love both those guys.
Cool, awesome.
I was pulling for him in that Super Bowl. Sorry, Corey.
Hey, you know what? Whatever, it's okay.
We have a knack for letting go of, good players like Hall of Fame talent, Trent Williams, the Champ Baileys. So who's next?
It's better to get rid of them a year early than to get rid of them a year
Bill
late.
Belichick.
So it only works the Patriot way. It only works the Patriot way if it actually works.
But I mean, one of the videos that I've wanted to create for a long time over on, just a short video is the video of Albert Hainsworth
laying on the field,
just laying on the field, giving up on the play. I haven't done it, but
I forgot y'all signed him.
Once again, all-time ridiculous move.
Biggest at the time, I think he had the biggest contract. Right, he was the first one. Contract.
Yep, for a D lineman or D tackle. And
he was out there being George Pickens before George Pickens was being George Pickens, right?
I remember when Shanahan came over and he couldn't pass a physical, and it pissed Shanahan off. And then I think Shanahan was finally the one that got rid of him. But that was a disaster. One of many, as you guys all know. So,
but that coaching staff was incredible. I mean, you had the older Shanahan with the younger Shanahan under him, and McVay and LaFleur, and was Mike McDaniel on that coaching staff?
Mike McDaniel was there as well as there was one more. We're missing one more. I can't remember who.
Matt LaFleur.
LaFleur was there. Yeah, he was mentioned.
Okay, is Callahan the line coach?
Yeah, Callahan was a great coach.
Did we say Kevin O'Connell already?
Kevin O'Connell. That's the
Kevin
one. That's
O'Connell was the
one.
other. Yep.
Because I know O'Connell and LaFleur are kind of considered under the McVay coaching tree and stuff too. So, yeah. So,
yeah, I'm really upset about that because we could have signed you or had McVay. That would have been great. But I don't think anybody wanted to stay with Daniel Snyder there. So, as I've gotten older, I've come to realize that was a major factor in a lot of things. So,
hey, I've seen
moved on, Matthew.
yeah.
I've seen before a retired NFL player go from coaching high school football to being a head coach in the NFL. So, Brad, hey, there might be
Brad's
an opening in
next.
Washington after the season. You
Still
might
got
as
a
well throw
chance.
your name out there. Yeah, still got a chance. So,
He'll
Jeff
be
Saturday paved the way, Brad, for you. So,
He did.
Josh
did.
McCown was a
I got a quick question for Brad. Brad, what do you think about? So we've seen this scenario happen a few times in the league, but currently, right now, we have Antonio Pierce, who is running the Raiders right now.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about him? And I think all of us on this podcast think he deserves the job, but we know what the Davis family does sometimes. What do you think about Antonio Pierce being the next head coach of the Raiders?
I remember playing against him when he was with the Giants, and he was just he was a physical player. He was outspoken. He was loud. He was a really, really good player. Obviously won a Super Bowl. Knew the mentality that it took. And, it's crazy how the jobs are just sometimes you wonder, who's making the decision sometimes. Is it a splash? Is it a fan vote kind of thing? Or is it just, who's hiring who? How do the owners make these decisions?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the biggest thing for a head coach is having a great schedule, training camp schedule, making good decisions on draft picks and free agency and all those kind of things, and just having a great schedule, having great coaches around them, and then letting those kind of guys coach and getting the most out of the players and have respect, but be able to deal with the highs and lows. Mm-hmm. And a guy like Antonio, obviously, he's dealt with the highs and lows of life, and then as a player. So hopefully they give him a shot. He's proven his worth this year. And so we'll see what it takes. They're paying a lot of money right now to a lot of coaches.
Well, so the other thing too is they're paying $85 million to two coaches that are not playing right now or not coaching right now, and they will lose Adams and Jacobs. They will lose them this year. They just will. So that's the other thing too. Is you have something to go with talent. Like I think he deserves it. We all on this panel, I think he deserves the job, but.
Look what he did against Kansas City, where Aiden O'Connell didn't complete a pass after the first quarter.
Yeah,
that defense had 4 touchdowns in 2 games. Defense wins championships sometimes. So,
yeah. Not only that, what Brad was just talking about, the way the coaches are able to delegate the time in training camp and practice, etc. The former players have been there, and we're seeing that more and more. The coaching staff in Detroit is completely full of players. So they've been there, they've done that. So when they're talking to these players about, okay, you're running this slant route, you're not running it correctly. If Antoine Randall is telling you that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he's been there, done
what he's talking about. He's not just I don't know if NFL players look at it like that, Brad, but he's not just some dude. You know what I mean?
I think there are some exceptional coaches. There really are. And you see the greatness come out over time. But I think the biggest part about being a coach is having a great schedule and then being able to relate to the players. You're going to lose games. You are. You're going to go through highs and lows of it all. But being able to communicate, have relationship business, and be able to make tough decisions in tough times. But definitely, a lot of those former players, they've lived it, especially what you're seeing up there in Detroit, and have to battle sometimes just being given an opportunity, a chance to do it. And obviously, this kind of worked out well for him on an interim basis to kind of get that chance. Otherwise, he may have never got that shot in the offseason. So hopefully, he gets it to be with Vegas this year. If not, he'll have another chance down the road.
No, he's going to get something somewhere. He's
proven it. Somewhere. Yep, he is. He's got the support of the players. He's going to get that chance.
He's another one we let go, by the way. We drafted
a lot of people forget. Yeah. Was he Matt?
What?
Matthew?
Oh, yeah. He got drafted by Washington. He played with LeVar Arrington era.
Well, you want somebody
Well, I think Brad, when I did an interview with you, you said LeVar Arrington was one of the toughest players you ever played against, right?
He was the hardest hitter. Hardest hitter.
Hardest hitter.
Yeah.
He
knocked out
retired
quite a few
Troy
guys.
Aikman.
He did.
Yeah.
I would
Who
say
was Brad? I know we see videos of Luke Kuechly and Urlacher used to do it a lot. Aaron Rodgers has a lot of love for Urlacher, the way he used to be able to play that chess game with him. Can you remember in your playing days?
That's a good question.
Who was that chess player at linebacker on the other side where they knew what you were running before you got to the line? Was there any guys like that?
I remember the first guy that really saw that could do that. I didn't play against him a bunch. Was Brian Cox when he's down in Miami.
okay.
He was really smart. It felt like every time he called out, if we were running a trap or outside zone or a pass play, like he could call it out. And it made you nervous a little bit on your checks and audibles and all those kind of things. Just kind of knew ahead of time. Now, a guy like Junior Seau or Palomalo, they would know. Sometimes they would guess and they were right. And sometimes they would guess and they were wrong. But they obviously both of them made Hall of Fame and all those things, those kind of things. But I felt like Brian Cox for me was one of the first guys that I recognized that really understood what we were doing offensively. And then, I obviously played against a lot of great players from Derrick Brooks to Ray Lewis and Urlacher and all the above. But Brian Cox was the first one that really stood out to me.
Yeah. Do you think it helped you a lot that Super Bowl year? The fact that you knew you were practicing against the best defense in the league, did that help you have more confidence offensively to there's nothing this other team can show me that I haven't seen from our defense? Did that help you out?
No, to be honest with you. I think number one, Gruden, when he came in, he brought a lot of offensive talent in. Number one, he brought in Joe Jurevicius and Keenan McCardell and Keyshawn Johnson and Michael Pittman and Ricky Dudley and Ken Dilger and Robert Oben and Kerry Jenkins. We made a lot of moves offensively. Our defense was phenomenal, obviously. Yeah. But a lot of times our defense, they're known for the Tampa 2, and they actually play a lot more single safety than people think. But sometimes in practice, I'll be honest with you, I didn't get enough looks because our defense, they were they were what they were.
Yeah.
And we became – it was just – but I'll say the greatness about our defense was we got to face them every day in practice, the intensity level, the quickness of making plays, those kind of things. But from a quarterback standpoint, I didn't get enough looks because our defense was good at what they did. They stayed in that. They stayed in the in their wheelhouse. And but the competitive level that they brought every day, you could see it. And that's why they were great for a decade or so.
Yeah. Well, speaking of your offensive weapons, you had Keyshawn Johnson at wide receiver. He was the last wide receiver that was drafted number 1 overall. My Chicago Bears are sitting at number 1 thanks to the Carolina Panthers. And there's a wide receiver coming out by the name of Marvin Harrison Jr. And honestly, I feel like I would take him over any quarterback in this draft. I've said it on here. I've said it on my other podcasts.
Don't take him from us.
What did it feel like when Keyshawn came in? Did it shoot up a notch, or because I've heard Warren Sapp he talked about him and he was like, we had the way we were setting our ways in training camp and all this and that, and he was a no-show and it really rubbed him the wrong way. But offensively, did he help you feel like, no matter what, I know I've got this guy out here? Did that help you too? Do you feel like there's a wide receiver that can go number 1?
Yeah, I think the comparison here is a little bit different. I actually really love playing with Keyshawn, okay? Keyshawn, he got drafted to the Jets, and then he got drafted to Tampa, and then we traded for him in Tampa. Right. But he was perfect for our team, honestly. He was a possession receiver, big physical receiver, catching slants and drags and curls and comebacks and digs, those kind of routes. And he's a great blocker too. So I don't know what the spat really was between Keyshawn and Sapp with all that went on, or what's been said later, to be honest with you. But I love playing with Keyshawn, so I had no problem with him as a quarterback. But I also got to play with Randy Moss. So I think the comparison with Randy Moss and Harrison, that might be the more comparison with the speed and the length of being an explosive player. Keyshawn is more of an intermediate player, where Marvin may be able to catch a drag or catch a go ball and go the distance with it. So a little bit different kind of player. So I do know with Randy, he changed the way defenses were playing
Yeah.
A lot of times they actually move corners to safeties and safeties to up to play corner sometimes to get more jam, but put the more athletic corners at safety sometimes to go make the plays deeper. And it changed the way the whole our whole division, the way they drafted. Instead of drafting a different player, they started drafting corners to be able to stop Randy Moss. So
Charles Tillman in Chicago.
Yeah, now Harris and all the above at Green Bay, like it was. So he's Marvin Harrison's a game changer. That's the $64,000 question. Do they want to go after one player, or do they want to go after 4 or 5 guys in the draft and load up? So the quarterback thing, it ain't a sure thing. And for that team, it'll be interesting how they really, value Justin Fields, and what that decision made. I don't know if I'd draft quarterback the very first pick. To be honest with you, if you look over the long haul, the first pick these last few years have really, really struggled as a whole.
There's 2 picks that are better for you all. There's 2 picks that are better. Chicago.
Please explain.
Marvin Harrison Jr. and Rome Odunze.
Yeah.
That's better. You keep Justin Fields and you just go with it.
You're preaching to the choir. You're not talking to Colin Coward here. I listened to him today, and I almost threw my.
Oh, that's your first mistake.
But there's a supply and demand, right? You have plenty of teams who are willing to give you what the Bears got last year for that number 1 overall pick. Yeah. If you can get multiple first rounds and a player like a DJ Moore or something of that nature, as opposed to trading away Justin Fields for a 2nd or a 3rd round pick, or staying there and taking one player, like Brad said, that's the question. Do you stay there and take one guy, or do you trade back and hope that maybe he falls to you at 3 or 4 and add up to what else you can get? But if the Bears trade away Justin Fields and take one of these quarterbacks, you can kiss Eberflus goodbye next year.
So Caleb, I said Caleb because I think people think he's the first quarterback that's going to be taken. Brad, I know you have a lot of other things you do. Is there any other quarterback that you think that's like, do you think like Michael Penix, or which I think he's the best one coming out in my opinion? Do you think that like any of them are better than the other one or something like that, or like
a can't miss?
Okay, I can't miss. Is there a can't miss in this draft?
I think when I think can't miss, I think of Andrew Luck to me, Peyton Manning.
Yeah,
true.
Body size, mentality for the game, and it's still potluck. You still need the organization to stay with you after a rough start. Those kind of things. So. But no, like you said, Penix, I actually think he's the best passer of the ball that there is, and you wondered, Caleb Williams, he's a great playmaker, but system football is everything off platform. Can you stay in the pocket and make plays and on time, on rhythm, understand protections, go through progressions? And that's the question. I mean, that's why these guys, all these scouts, like, who's scouting who, man? And what level of talent did you really play against?
Right.
Somebody like Caleb, somebody like Caleb Williams, who was in the same conference as Michael Penix Jr., but Caleb Williams is already, I'm not saying it's all him, but he's already ahead of himself in other aspects besides his play. And then you see Michael Penix Jr. doing what he's doing, and then he's behind JJ McCarthy I think they're currently JJ McCarthy's like 41 in a mock, and Michael Penix Jr. is 45. I'm not saying Michael Penix Jr. should be drafted 3rd, but at the same time, what are we doing there? Like,
I think a lot of the off the field things, like that when these teams interview the players, I mean, they'll go back and talk to their 5th grade teacher and see how he was as a student. They'll talk to his high school girlfriend and his coach in high school to see.
But we might not have to go that back far to see what Caleb Williams is doing. That's what I'm saying.
And I think those will shift around, and that's why you always have surprises in the draft. I mean, Baker Mayfield wasn't expected to go number 1 overall his year. Mitch Trubisky wasn't projected to go number 2 when the Bears took him, and I still think
that was bad.
But I'm saying, like, these guys, they'll move around and they have access to more things than we do. All we can see is what we see them playing. And Michael Penix, after watching him last Saturday, I mean, beautiful ball.
I'm not watching. I'm not saying it because Washington has literally paid my mortgage for the past 7 months, basically. But I'm saying Michael Penix Jr., when healthy, is the best one in the league. And then J.J. McCarthy is in front of him.
But that's going to be the question mark is Penix is – they're going to say, well, he's 26. He's had 2 ACL surgeries.
I thought he was only 24.
Look, we could sit here and talk about these quarterbacks that are coming out in the draft all day. What I would say, because we got to get into the 6-pack challenge and everything, Brad, I'm gonna give you some time, do some homework, do some research, and we could probably have you back on closer to the draft if you're open to it to talk about these quarterbacks and to say, hey, this is who I like, this is who I would take, not so sold on him. And that way we're not Brad's been watching a lot of
my bad.
Watching a lot of Texas A&M games this past year, and next year he's going to be watching a lot of Tar Heel games. As the boys transferred from
Did they both, Brad?
They both transferred. Both Jake's a tight end, Max is quarterback.
Man, I was so jacked.
For both of them.
I text Kyle as soon as I watched that game when he got in and they threw that pass. Oh my God! I text Kyle immediately. I was so excited for your boys, dude. Yeah. I was so jacked.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They got to throw their Jake got to call his very first pass and then touchdown. From Max, and it's kind of cool. Loudspeaker. They usually they'd say Johnson, but they said brother to brother.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. I didn't know that at all. Okay.
Pretty cool experience for them to go through. It's like in the backyard, but them getting to play with each other at that level is pretty cool.
That's awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome, and if you guys want to come back for a draft show, Matthew, I know you guys have the 2nd overall pick, correct? Right now,
So we're at your mercy.
Maybe you can come back and we can chit-chat it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine for sure. I'll definitely do my draft studying. So,
all right.
Hey guys, I appreciate, man. This is our 3rd year we had it. Next year we'll have our 4th annual Fantasy Football League. Matthew, see if you can come back and back it up.
I'm glad to be a part of it.
To the victor goes the spoils, brother. You get to celebrate the belt. So appreciate you guys. Look forward to be back with you on again. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Brad.
Good seeing you.
See you.
Thanks, Bills.
See you later.
So, Matt.
Oh, do you want me to bring him back in?
I thought he was picking.
You're welcome to stay through the show, Matt, and do our 6-pack challenge.
I thought you all said he's. So
that wasn't. Hey, you're what?
That's up to you guys. I've never done it before.
Games with us, Matt.
So our 6-pack challenge every week, we pick 6 games, and we'll kind of get into the 6 we picked last week. We've got 6 we pick against the spread. Not sure if you're much of a gambler. But you're welcome to. It'll probably take us about an hour to get through everything. I don't know if you have time carved out for that or anything, or.
I figured it'd run about an hour, but I can get through it probably. So
it's up to you. You're welcome. We've never had a special guest make picks with us before.
Okay.
So you're welcome to pick with us. I'll see if I can't get you your own graphic for the week too. Once you make the picks. But DFR, Brad Johnson, Fantasy Football Invitational Champion, we'd be happy to let you make some picks this week. So,
all right. I'll try it out for sure.
Cool. Aaron, if you want to start us out.
We're going to run through last week's games real quick. We got 7 from last week. I did an extra shot for New Year's, and then we'll get into the 6-pack challenge for this week. The 12-ounce Curl Route podcast, big spread of the week, Sunday at 1 p.m. The San Francisco 49ers travel to your Washington Commanders team, and they beat them 27-10. We all had San Francisco minus 13.5, and they cover the spread. Matthew, you had a first person view of this game. Tell me, quickly, or try to break it down a little bit. What happened?
Well, Washington happened for one thing, and then I don't know, man. We need a new offensive line, and I'm surprised Christian McCaffrey didn't do more damage on us. But I think that once they had Eli Mitchell in, they kind of wanted to save the gas for McCaffrey. So,
Well,
I kind of
CMC. The reason they shut it down was because he's hurt.
He had that calf
he
injury.
did get hurt?
Yeah, calf or hamstring or something. He was on the sidelines working it out.
He's got 20 days to figure it out.
Injury. Yeah. Wow, that sucks for him. I was doing a lot of Chase Young watching, and it's funny you guys brought up Albert Haynesworth because I swear a few weeks ago Chase Young was laying on the field when he should have got back up to pursue someone. I think it was versus the Eagles. You might have to check that. So.
Oh, I meant to say thank you for Montez Sweat, by the way.
Oh yeah, hey man. He's leading both our teams in sacks.
yeah. Pro Bowler Montez Sweat. That was announced just before we went live.
He should be all pro for leading 2 goddamn teams in sacks.
Yeah, that's amazing.
we'll see.
Whatever bonus he deserves, he should get it.
Oh, we paid him handsomely. I assure you.
Once I saw an interview and he goes, "I don't really care where I end up. It's a business." I was like, "Oh, he's gone. He's gone."
Yeah.
So
I feel like a lot of your players, I know when they talked to, I think it was Jonathan Allen, they talked to him when he was coming out and after another horrible week, and he was like, it's the same old shit, man. They get tired of this, play my ass off, and we come out at the wrong end. And I mean, it's got to be rough for those players to go through that, justin when they're coming from Alabama's and Ohio States where they don't lose games. I mean, Justin Fields has had to learn that here in Chicago, learn how to lose and then how to deal with that psychologically, but
I'm glad that we got to keep at least Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne, because getting rid of Chase Young and Montez Sweat will free up the cap room, and now we'll be able to keep both of them, which I think is important. So
I will say for this, for your team, shout out to the UK boys, me and Aaron. C-Rod is your best player in the past fucking 4 weeks, probably. Now, granted, I know he's hurt. But
you got Jamin Davis.
Jamin Davis. I was a big Jamin Davis guy coming out of college, but he's kind of disappointed me. But it might be a Ron Rivera thing because I know Ron doesn't like him.
He blew up in the draft because he blew up in the draft because he was able to. He was the only person that could hold a candle to Kyle Pitts in college.
I didn't know that.
And Jamin Davis, they were like, "That's your guy today," and he covered him. We actually, I believe, beat Florida that year, which was breaking the streak.
Now everybody's shutting down Pitts.
Just to correct you there, Corey, Terry McLaurin is the most talented player on that offense, and he's from the Ohio State University. So.
Okay, so sure. I'll give you that. The McLaurin is the most talented. My bad. I'm saying the newest, Aaron seen him. He played 2 seasons. I'm going to say that again. 2 seasons without a loss for a rush for a loss.
Yeah, he just doesn't go down.
And he's playing with Brian Robinson Jr. And
Rodriguez.
Yeah, C-Rod. No, get used to it. It's called C-Rod. That's what it gets.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. No, he's fire.
I noticed that he's really tough to tackle, and he likes to drag the pile with him.
Yeah.
So.
And he's going to end up freeing up some extra money for y'all while Terry Scary and a couple other people doing what they're doing, obviously. You're going to have an issue with a wide receiver, I think, a little bit. But
I think we got to get rid of Curtis Samuel just because he came with Ron Rivera. And I think that De'Ami Brown could do everything Curtis Samuel can do, but for a cheaper rate. But I don't know. I've heard that De'Ami Brown is in his doghouse and doesn't get that opportunities he deserves and all this type of stuff. So who knows what's fact or fiction? I guess we'll have to see when Ron moves on. So
speaking of my favorite college player of this year, there's a chance you all get Rome Odunze from Washington. Yep. Have him on the other side of Scary Terry. Oh my God.
Is he tall?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Because
it literally doesn't matter. No.
6'1" and below. So.
He's in some change. He is,
okay.
but it doesn't matter. I mean, he's that good. I mean, he's just that good. And real quick. Sorry, I'm breaking it up. I know we have him in here right now. How do you feel about
his time? I mean,
how do you feel about Sam Howell?
I'm a Sam Howell guy, so I feel like if we get an offensive line and maybe some more supporting cast, I would be disappointed if we used the pick on a quarterback if Marvin Harrison Jr. was still there. Say the Bears take Marvin Harrison Jr., then it opens up a whole wide, range of things, whether they want to trade back or, take one of the quarterbacks. I really don't know. I know we need to fix the offensive line because he got hit way too much.
Yeah.
And I think, if he had
He's the
better
most sacked
protection,
quarterback without 4 extra weeks.
I looked it up on StatMuse. He has like 63, and the guy like closest to him has like 40. So
yeah. So if you get the O-line, so the best part about this is you can get like a Rome or somebody like that in the second round or something like that. So that would be okay. Well, I'm not saying Rome specifically, but like,
well, I think it all
people like-
depends on how we got to wait for the combine and all the offseason stuff
Yeah.
because these guys are shakers and movers. And
Yeah.
I'm also
when Bill
talking way too much about
when
Washington.
Bill Belichick gets traded from the Patriots and wherever he goes, he's taken a D3 quarterback in the first round anyway.
yeah,
Right. He's going to take a D4 wide receiver that he saw in the pouring rain in round 2. So Bill Belichick is
As
really
long as it's
going
not
to-
in New England anymore, I don't give a shit where it happens.
I think y'all end up with Mike Vrabel, but we got to move on. The 12-ounce Curl Route podcast nail biter of the week. Sunday Night Football. The Green Bay Packers went to Minnesota. They beat them 33-10. This was a 1.5 point spread. Myself and Kyle had Green Bay plus 1.5, and Corey had Minnesota minus 1.5 because he believed in Justin Jefferson. Corey, what happened, bro?
Yeah, I didn't watch anything. Apparently, nobody threw the ball to Justin Jefferson. So that's it. That was it.
I mean, I told you guys last week that they were probably going to start Jaron Hall, who was a rookie quarterback. No matter how much they got sliced up by Bryce Young, the Vikings only have Justin Jefferson. They lost TJ Hawkinson, KJ Osborne. Jordan Addison was banged up heading to this game. I think he was active.
I didn't know that part. I didn't know Jordan Addison was out too.
Yeah,
I didn't know TJ was out, but like I didn't know all the other stuff was going on.
But I mean,
I didn't do research. My bad.
Give me a Jameis Winston because Jordan
get
Love
out of here.
ate
Gross.
that dub.
Gross.
He ate it.
I was shocked you didn't
Gross.
come on here rocking your number 10 today. It's Bears Packers week.
Aaron, we are picking that game, by the way, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't stress how much money I put on this game, and we will get to that later.
Oh, no.
Our
I'm
next
a parlay
game.
guy.
Our next, parlays screw me every time, but
All the
time. Me too.
I still love
Always one leg. Always one damn leg.
Yeah.
Hey,
The
last Thursday I did have a parlay anytime touchdown, Browns defense, Jets defense. Now, I only put $1 on it. I only put $1 on it.
No.
Only put $1 on it and I won $50 off of it.
Oh.
So
Hey, nice.
But that's good
But-
though. Still,
wish I would have put a little bit more.
Just imagine if you put 10 on it. That'd be fine.
I know, but I didn't have a lot of money
Imagine
to
500.
lose.
Hey,
I didn't have a lot to lose. Okay.
You take that $49 gain,
Yeah.
and you pocket that.
You cash
thing.
out that motherfucker and go to the next one.
It was I thought Bama and Texas were going to be in the national championship, so that $50 is gone. So
I did win my college one.
Team, all right, real quick.
And I don't know college either. That's the crazy thing.
Let's get out of
I
the
was
way.
just picking random.
Washington single-handedly has paid for my mortgage for 4 years now. So I'm going to ride Washington. They're plus 4.5. I'm going to ride it, not for as much because I do believe Michigan is that damn good. So I'm only going to put like maybe 3 C notes on it. But they have
were
gotten me. Go ahead.
Underdogs or something.
No, they've
last
always
week,
been
I think.
They're
Yeah,
underdogs, baby. They're the
crazy.
Huskies. They've been doing this all year, and I've won so much goddamn money off Michael Penix Jr. being should have been Heisman Trophy winner.
well,
And they've been running roughshod on everybody, and they've been underdogs the entire year.
the Michigan Wolverines in their locker room, they have a picture of Eddie Guerrero, and it says, "If you're not cheating, you're not trying." So
Wow.
It's a good thing it wasn't Chris Benoit.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
What's
my
our next
God.
game?
That's in the weight room.
What's our next game, Aaron?
Our next game is the most talked about game of the entire week. Saturday at 8:15, the Detroit Lions traveled down to Jerry's World to take on the Dallas Cowboys. We all had Detroit plus 6. Detroit probably should have won this game, but the wrong lineman told
Oh,
him
that
he
was
was
horrible.
eligible, and
That
then
was
he
horrible.
said he
Real quick,
wasn't.
as a Detroit fan, can we talk about that there was also a tripping call that would have made Dallas win too? Can we
As a
talk about that?
fan, are you a Detroit fan?
I want them to kind of win. Like I want them to win.
Well,
Or not
sure,
as
it
a
would
fan. I'm not a fan, but like I'm saying, like as a Detroit enthusiast, okay.
Enthusiast.
Well, what they were trying to pull some Bill Belichick type shit.
If
right?
that tripping call was proper,
they wouldn't have
Dallas
even
would
had
have won.
Yeah. But I don't know what
it
the
was
rules
still a
are.
bullshit call, Detroit and all that stuff. Brad Allen, that crew is not allowed into the playoffs now.
They're calling this Saturday's game for the Ravens
yeah.
and Steelers, though.
But I feel like I don't know the rule, but I feel like after that first 2-point conversion, that penalty that got moved back, they could have kicked the field goal. I feel like
the
extra point. Why would you still go for it?
I don't know why they did that.
That's
that
Man
was
Campbell.
ridiculous.
I mean, look, they didn't lose because of. I mean, they lost because they didn't kick the fucking extra point and go to overtime. Yeah. That's why they lost. But there was 2 calls that were so egregious in that game. The only difference is one of them is highlighted. The other one's not. But it was enough to highlight that so much so that the part-time $150,000 referees, who are usually lawyers and doctors, they're not allowed into the playoffs this year. And I think that does
playoffs.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is the ref screwed it up, but the video that I've seen, because I didn't watch this game live, it was Saturday night. I had other things to do. But they had 3 offensive linemen go to the ref.
What was you doing?
Tell them which one. It was New Year's, bro.
Messing with.
No, it wasn't.
It was definitely not New Year's.
I was doing stuff all weekend.
Yeah, this is the 30th.
Thundercat.
God forbid I'd have anything to do outside of watching a Detroit-Dallas game that I didn't give a shit about.
I watched the shit out of this game.
I was driving back. I was driving from a 45-minute drive, and I still turned it on in the car.
Matthew, what were you doing? What were you doing?
I was watching it.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Next week, Matt is leading the podcast. We're getting you're out of here.
I hope you can hit that intro, Matt. But there's 3 offensive linemen that are going to talk to the ref, so it's your own damn fault that he got the wrong lineman, and the lineman that he called had been eligible several times in the game. So it's on Detroit. They can blame the refs if they want, but it's on them.
Simply not. It's just simply not.
It is on Detroit because they were trying the fuckery and it didn't work, and they're trying to say, let's confuse the defense by sending 3 big dudes over here.
I get that part. But when the man Campbell goes to them the day before or whatever they have those meetings and says, hey, we're this play. This is the person. Only Taylor Decker is going to be this person. And then Taylor Decker is the only person that catches the ball.
But 70 had been eligible several times in the game.
Well, he's been eligible since Nam when they're on the fucking 2. Like, that's the
point. You got in that cup tonight, Corey. I think you got some makers dropping.
No, I'm just saying, like.
Let's roll on.
We're on Saturday. Yeah, let's keep
Speaking of some fuckery, Sunday at 1 p.m., the Miami Dolphins traveled to Baltimore to take on the Baltimore Ravens, who shellacked Miami 56-19. We all had Baltimore -4, and I think Lamar Jackson must have listened to our podcast last week.
That felt personal then.
He didn't deserve the MVP, and he was like, let me just show you what I'm going to do. And he just threw all over them. Everybody was open all day long, and Miami lost their best defensive player to a torn ACL at the end of the game.
Best lineman, yeah.
Okay.
He's not the best player. He's not the best defensive player on their team, but okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Please continue, Corey.
He's not the best defensive player on their team.
I mean, if you want to talk about the game other than that, go ahead.
No, that was a huge loss. Huge loss. But let's talk that Holland's not been playing for half the year, and Xavier Howard went out too. So, like, they lost. That was a big loss, but that's not the biggest loss they've had in the past 2 weeks.
Well, if it makes you feel any better,
current
If
game.
it makes you feel any better, Lamar Jackson isn't the best choice for MVP, but he was out on the field too.
You want to run that back again, though, Kyle? You think that he's not the MVP? Because you were very
on this game.
no, you were very
when I
anti
sure,
last week,
sure,
and then he
they're
just had a
benching him this week.
Yeah.
So
when I looked at the stats and saw that Jordan Love has more total touchdowns than Lamar Jackson and only 400 less total yards, no, Lamar Jackson is not your MVP. He's
even
not.
After that
I'm
last
sorry.
game you just watched.
Even after that last game, he is still not your MVP. He is not doing anything that we have not seen before. You have Christian McCaffrey. You have Tyreek Hill. They need to get away from this damn MVP being a quarterback award. He's not the
Christian McCaffrey deserves it.
I'm fine.
In my
I'm
opinion.
fine. Yes. No, I was totally fine with Tyreek Hill or a CMC getting it. But after he just did what he did with 5 touchdowns in 32 playing minutes, this is coming from Aaron. I hate Louisville. I hate Lamar Jackson.
Nick Foles threw 6 touchdowns in one half.
It's like an eye test with Lamar Jackson. He used to almost be better, but he's still playing where he's producing stats.
Well, what's funny is when you say that, Matthew. When you say that, Matthew, the people that have to vote on this, all they do is eye test. And that eye test just got him the damn MVP.
Oh, he's gonna win it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he'll win it.
It's those
but McCaffrey deserves it. So
no, I'm with you. I would love more than anything. Tyreek Hill, it sucks he's hurt.
Oh yeah, even him.
Shout out to him. His house is currently still on fire. By the way, I don't know if anybody's seen that.
I did see that.
Yeah, it's bad. I don't know.
Really?
Luckily that Buffalo has to come to Miami versus the other way, so he can at least stay in town. Family's safe, everybody's safe, whatever. But that's like a different mind to deal with all that shit when you have to get a.
I like how you edited yourself on fuck and then said shit in the same.
When it's serious, I'm gonna edit myself. But you threw me off. Fuck it. All right.
We'll move on because we got to get into this week's games. Sunday at 1:00, New England traveled to Buffalo, and they lose this game 27-21. But myself and Corey had New England plus 12. Kyle had Buffalo minus 12. I just assumed a divisional game. They were going to keep it close. New England plays good defense. Kyle, what were you thinking on this game, and what went wrong?
Yeah, Buffalo was running away with this thing early. They picked off old Bailey Zappi twice in their first 2 drives, and they were looking to absolutely manhandle the Patriots. And then at the end of the game, New England finally decided to put a drive together and had a touchdown, I guess. So easy money. No, not easy money, Corey. You were sweating your britches off all day. Guarantee you.
I was too busy watching the Stroud Boys, baby. What
this game on paper was not as close as it was actually on the field.
Didn't matter. I didn't need to win. I just needed the spread.
Well, they got that garbage time love.
Exactly.
They got that cover. That's all I needed. We'll move on to the next game. Sunday at 1:00, New Orleans traveled to Tampa Bay. All Tampa Bay had to do was win, and they locked up the division, but they couldn't. They lose this game 13-23. We all picked Tampa Bay minus 3 because we thought they'd lock up their division. And
yeah, Matthew, you're very right, Matthew, on that one.
What did I miss?
So NFC South of them.
Yeah.
That's so NFC South.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week. I said, does anyone even want to win this division? I picked New Orleans to win this division at the start of the season, and now they have a chance to in the last game this week. But, I mean, we'll see how it goes. But all Tampa had to do was win. I don't –
And they were playing so good. They were playing, Baker, I said last week, you could argue he should be the comeback player of the year. I know that there's one guy out there that died and had a half a tackle – but it should have been Baker, and you throw Joe Flacco in there for that.
I think Flacco deserves
it deserves. I mean, Flacco's taking naps and on the defensive possession.
That's my dude, because that's how I am in primetime games.
Aaron Rodgers is jealous of Flacco, dude.
As soon as I say that, Tampa Bay goes out and shits a brick.
Yep.
And then every time I bet on, so the entire year I bet on NFC South, I am 0 for like 38. So I'm not betting on them again. And
Dude,
even
same.
I
didn't bet them that much, but every time
almost
I bet Atlanta or New Orleans,
Yeah.
they did the same thing.
I'd almost bet if I bet on not even the Carolina Tampa Bay, if I bet on the which one's coming up is going to be New Orleans Saints versus Atlanta, it'd be a tie. Somehow
well, they're in the 6-pack challenge this week. Both of those
sure
games. So we gotta try to decipher.
I'm going for a tie.
Y'all want to move on, or did you want to cover
keep
anything, Kyle? So our extra shot of the week was on New Year's. Cincinnati at Kansas City. They lose this game 17-25. We all had Cincinnati +7, and they lose by 8. I could not believe it. My best week of the entire year. I went 5-2 this week. All I needed Cincinnati to do was kick a field goal to cover, and they couldn't do it. But Cincinnati was dominant early. We went to some friend's house, and I wasn't really watching it. I mean, they had the game on, but I wasn't really watching it. And Kansas City just took off in the second half and took over. I saw several clips of Isaiah Pacheco. My favorite one was they said Isaiah Pacheco runs like kids when they're trying on their shoes in the store.
That's pretty accurate.
He runs like he's mad at the ground. The guy just slams his feet into the ground. He's got to go.
He would have won a league for me. I didn't start him. He was on my bench, so I lost the league. But yeah,
that's all right. In my big money league this week, Matt, I went up against CeeDee Lamb and Isaiah Pacheco, and I had Cooper Kupp. I mean, my kicker and my defense outscored all of my skill players. I had three choices of quarterbacks I could have started between Fields, Kyler, and Love, and I picked the one that's had the least amount of fantasy points in Justin Fields. So yeah, Cooper Kupp. I had CMC, Trey McBride, Bijan Robinson, Mike Evans, T. Higgins. I mean, anything that could go wrong for me in that league went wrong for me.
Murphy's Law on that one, man. Because I played CeeDee Lamb as well, but I didn't have all that stuff go wrong. That sucks.
Shout out to the Bills D, though, because they manhandled those
Patriots. I did have them, though.
And my boy Cairo Santos with the Bears. He looked pretty good, too.
Yeah. But that's the last game from last week, so we'll get into this week's games. Matt, the way we do this is I introduce the game. We talk for a minute about it. I introduce the spread, and then we pick against the spread. And big spread of the week, again, is your Washington Commanders. Dallas is traveling to Washington. Washington is 13-point home underdogs. The over-under is 45.5. Money line for Dallas is -800. For Washington is +550. Since you're our guest and this is your team, how you feeling on this one? You think Washington can keep it close, or do you think?
So Sam Howell had his first career start versus the Cowboys. And he beat them. So I don't think he can pull it off again under the circumstances. And I think it hurts the team if we lose. But I don't know if I'd be a true Washington fan if I picked Dallas. So I'm almost forced to pick Washington here, even though I think Dallas will probably get us this time. But this is like winning the Super Bowl for us. So if we can pull this off, I'm all for it. I guess I'm going to take Washington with the points.
Yeah, so you're also giving +13, so that works out.
That's what makes me second guess. I feel like
it's also Tom
Ron Rivera's final game.
And Sam Howell did beat them last time. He started off like that. So who knows?
It is worth mentioning that Dallas's game is at 1:00. That is worth mentioning. 4:00 games, like they designed all these to where something will matter eventually. So that does matter. Like they're playing to win. So
they're playing to win the game. They're playing for still the NFC East, and I think the Eagles play at 1 as well. Is what Corey's trying to get out. So I got you, Corey. Don't worry.
Man, I don't know. This is such a big spread. You know what? Give me Washington to cover the spread. I don't think they win this game, but I think they cover 13. And I may regret it next week, but oh well. I'm at 500 as of last week, so it is what it is. Kyle, what are you feeling on this one, man?
Yeah, as soon as I saw Sam Howell named starting quarterback for Week 18, I said, "Oh, give me Dallas minus 13." With the way that Sam Howell's been playing under center, Jacoby Brissett gives you the best chance of winning this game. But I think, and I don't understand it. And maybe Ron Rivera thinks that he's coming back next year and says, "You know what? Let's give Sam Howell one more look at it or something." But Jacoby Brissett gives you your best chance, and we've seen that the past few weeks when he's been inserted into games and he brings them back. Washington has the worst
defense,
probably the worst defense of the NFL. So yeah, I'm on Dallas minus 13.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe Sam Howell will have a short leash and save me on this one. Corey, what do you got?
Cowboys. Are you serious? they still have to play for something, and it's only 13. Yeah, I'll take Cowboys all day.
All righty. The 12-ounce Curl Route podcast nail biter of the week is Saturday at 8:15 p.m. The Houston Texans traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. The Colts are 1.5-point home underdogs. The over-under is 47.5. Money line for Houston is minus 118. For Indy is minus 102. Give me Houston at Indy to win and cover this spread and shoot for that division. Go ahead, Corey. You look like you're dying over there.
I'm a Stroud boy. This is the time for the Stroud boys to come out. I am taking Houston minus 1.5. I love that spread. I got it as minus 1. That's what I got it at.
No, it's 1.5.
Okay. I'll
it's at the bottom of the
take
screen there.
I'll take a minus 1.5. All right, fine. It's and you.
I'm going Houston as well. Houston as well.
All right, Kyle, are you rocking with everybody else? Or
I'm really surprised that Corey didn't say, "Well, I'm going to play the mind games here and go with Indianapolis plus one." And we would have had to correct him plus 1.5, because he likes to say, you know, if I take the other team, this team is going to win. This is a pick'em game, and Houston has the better roster. I think this comes down to their defense to force some turnovers, because Houston is one of the lowest teams on offense to have turnovers, and we see that with the way Cole Ridge has played all season. So, yeah, I'm on Houston minus 1.5 as well.
Yeah, and they see if they can win the division there. They'll need Jacksonville to lose to lock that division up. Sunday at 1 p.m., the Atlanta Falcons traveling to New Orleans. New Orleans is 3.5-point home favorites. The over-under is 42. Money line for Atlanta is plus 142. For New Orleans is minus 170.
Can I go
first?
Okay.
Give me New Orleans minus 3.5. I watched Atlanta last week. Looked like they absolutely quit against the Chicago Bears. Maybe the snow had a little bit to do with that. I'm not sure. But New Orleans, you got a chance to win the division, man. You got to win. You got to win.
Is Heineke playing? Does anybody know?
Does it matter?
Ritter. I mean, maybe.
It don't matter.
None of them throwing to the actual guys.
True. He actually makes Pitts look all right sometimes. Heineke does, which is shocking. But okay.
Check down, baby. Check
interesting. Am I going first on this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'll take New Orleans with a minus, I think, 3.5. Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead, Corey.
I'm gonna take the Saints, which means the Falcons will win. I mean, every time I bet against the Falcons, or every time I bet the Falcons, they've lost. Every time I get them, they win. So yeah.
Well, Falcons. I mean, the hook had me thinking about it for a second, but I mean, New Orleans, you said
3.5.
Yeah.
So for that only reason, I'll take the Saints. I thought when you originally did it was 3. So yeah.
New Orleans is favored by 3.5. Go ahead, Kyle.
It depends on what Arthur Smith comes out and does. If we get a Jonnu Smith, Cordero Patterson, Tyler Algier offense this week, Atlanta's got no shot. If he decides to use Bijan, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London this week, then Atlanta's cooking with canola oil. They might actually win this game. I can't wait till next season when, Ben Johnson is probably the head coach of this team and Russell Wilson is the quarterback or something like that. And you're finally getting people out there that are going to utilize your top picks the way that your top picks need to be utilized. I feel like I have I want to fight Arthur Smith. He would beat me up. That's fine. But
I don't know. But
he probably would.
He probably hasn't.
He's a CEO's son. Yeah, but I mean,
that makes him a
also
bitch.
football player. Yeah.
Nepotism.
I mean, yeah. Give me New Orleans -3.5 in this game because I don't trust Arthur Smith. I don't trust those quarterbacks in Atlanta, and I just.
Real quick.
They tried to force the ball to Drake London a lot last week, and the Bears picked him off several times because they were just forcing it in there.
So real quick, Kyle, I was saying that last week I thought that Russell Wilson would be perfect for Atlanta. I know there's going to be some weird shit that goes on when he leaves because he's going to be owed all this money. It probably won't matter who he goes to, but now I'm starting to think that like a Tyrod Taylor would be good at Atlanta.
Well, you know who's in the front office in Atlanta is a man by the name of Ryan Pace, and he learned under the tutelage of New Orleans, so he doesn't give a damn about a salary cap. He will pay whoever, whatever.
But Taysom Hill's the starting quarterback of this team next year.
He will bid against himself.
I know. Yeah, I thought it was wild thinking about it too. It's like I totally forgot that Tyrod Taylor, after being stabbed in the lungs 3 times, was still a backup quarterback. And then we see him in New York, and
that's how Herbert got made.
Well, exactly.
Happened.
But like he finally played. Like we've seen him come out, and he still looks good when he's not getting stabbed in the lung. Like,
well, that's happened to Tyrod a few times because when he was in Buffalo, something happened when he came out.
Yeah, you're right about that. I forgot about that.
I think the same. Yeah. Anywhere this guy goes, he gets the chance to start and look good, and then
so maybe that'd work out for him.
The doctor stabs him too hard with the shot that he's supposed to get.
You're not ready.
Yeah.
He is the true embodiment of the bad luck Brian meme. Our next game is the other side of that division. Sunday at 1:00, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are traveling to Carolina to play against the Fighting Tempers who throw drinks at people. Carolina is +5.5 in this game. The over-under is 37.5. Money line for Tampa is -238. For Carolina is +198. I'll go first. Carolina has nothing to gain from a win or a loss. Therefore, I think they come out. They play hard. I mean, this is a team that lost by 3 to your Green Bay Packers, Kyle. So I think they cover the 5.5-point spread. I still think Tampa wins, but I think it's a close one. Give me Carolina +5.5. Go ahead, Matt.
This one's harder for me. I'm gonna probably go with Let me take Tampa for this game. I'll go with Tampa just because I don't believe in Carolina at all.
It's hard to believe in them.
They put up like 0, I think, or something. So I'm just off that. So
go ahead, Corey.
Well, when your owner's having a temper tantrum.
Did you call it temper tantrum? Oh yes.
Yeah, I did. I totally did. Also, the Panthers have nothing to play for. Fine, whatever.
Sure.
At this point, they're trying to figure out some certain things, but the Buccaneers do, and the Buccaneers not only have a chance to win the division, but in some weird scenario, they can still technically lose and get in. I think so. They're just playing for their lives. So for that reason, I'm taking the Buccos by 7.5. Actually,
well,
but you only have to take it by 5.5.
Oh, I know. I know what I have to think about. I'm just saying.
Aaron, did you say you took Carolina on that one?
Yeah.
Now that the Chicago's locked up the number 1 pick, they don't have to win the game for me to get this pick right. You forgot to say that, Aaron.
I'm sorry.
I've watched more Carolina Panthers game this year than I really have wanted to. And me and the Crusher went down to Tennessee and saw them live, and that was just talk about a terrible game to go. So Trace Adkins, singing the national anthem was the highlight of that game. Looking on paper, their offense is awful. The rookie wide receiver for them, Jonathan Mingo, just went on IR. Adam Thielen was not utilized down the stretch the way that he was utilized at the beginning of the season. And Miles Sanders, what I thought at the beginning of the season was a perfect ad, has looked terrible. Tampa Bay is fighting for their lives. Not only are they fighting for the playoffs, but Todd Bowles, if they don't make the playoffs, he's gone. Baker Mayfield, if they don't make the playoffs, he's probably gone too. So I think these guys are going to be playing lights out, and I think that we see a big game from Rachaad White, and I like Tampa Bay -5.5.
I didn't know Mingo was out. I wish I could change my
Kyle, how about you like Rachaad White scoring a touchdown?
How much would I like it? Or do I
I
think
think
it would happen?
he's going to be really good next year. I don't know why.
I mean, when I look at the numbers, Carolina is 23rd in the NFL against the rush, and they're 3 against the pass. So they're going to have to use Rachaad White to win this game. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him get 15, 20 carries and probably 6 targets in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tampa Bay doesn't
Love
really win the ball, though.
So, yes, I think that he has a good chance of not only scoring 1 touchdown, but potentially 2.
All right, we'll move on. Sunday at 4:30, the showdown of all showdowns. The Chicago Bears traveling up to Lambeau Field, the frozen tundra, to take on the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers are 3-point home favorites. The over-under is 44. Money line for Chicago is +140. For Green Bay is -166. Green Bay is in a situation win and you're in. Chicago has a chance to do exactly what Detroit did last year, where they came back from a 1-6 start, went on a miraculous run, and then knocked Green Bay out of the playoffs. For all those reasons, give me Chicago +3 at Green Bay. Bear the fuck down. Go ahead, Matt.
All right. I'm not – this has nothing to do with loyalties to anything, but it's funny because at the state line here, it's all cheeseheads and all Bears fans. So in the spirit of Aaron Rodgers saying that he owned the Bears, until proven otherwise, I got to go with the Packers for this one.
Well, Aaron Rodgers came out today and said until they beat us, they don't mean anything. Does he not realize that he left Green Bay and went to New York?
That's what I'm saying. He can't have, 1 foot in and, the other foot out the door.
I hate that guy. And he's about to get his ass sued. Go ahead, Kyle.
Once a Packer, always a Packer, especially if you're Aaron Rodgers. If he would have started his career with any other team, I probably wouldn't have liked him. Just kind of the way he carries himself. But he is one of the greatest quarterbacks to play this game. And he played very, very smart. I mean, there's a reason why he's won so many MVPs, deserving of those MVPs that he's won as well, not just handed the award. Watching Green Bay and the way they played against Minnesota, I did not expect them without Christian Watson and losing Jaden Reed after scoring 2 touchdowns to win the game against Minnesota, against that Minnesota defense the way they did. Bo Melton is a household name now. Not really, but elevated off the practice
squad.
One
every week, don't they?
They really do. Elevated off the practice squad, 100 yards, and I believe Bo Melton had a touchdown. When I look at this game and I see what Chicago's good at on offense and what they're good at on defense, Chicago can't move the ball really through the air, but they can on the ground. And it shows with Justin Fields and all those running backs they have. When it's defensively, and I know they've gotten better since they have the leading sack leader, their sack leader for 2 teams, Montez Sweat. Their passing defense has definitely improved, but they have the number 1 rush defense in the NFL as well. On the contrary, Green Bay has one of the worst rush defense and a mediocre pass defense, but they have a good balanced offense moving the ball. I look for Green Bay to find, if he plays, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Tucker Kraft, Bo Melton, Malik Heath, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, anybody and everybody they can, because Jordan Love has spread the ball around this year. There's a reason in Green Bay, when you go from a Hall of Fame quarterback to a Hall of Fame quarterback to a Hall of Fame quarterback in Jordan Love, you own the Bears.
Aaron, I'm with you. I'm with you, Aaron.
This 3 points, this is nothing for Green Bay when they beat them by 18 to begin the season. So give me Green Bay -3 at home to clinch a playoff berth and to probably go lose next week in the wild card. But Green Bay will make the playoffs.
This is a completely different team than you played in week 1.
This is a completely different team than you played in week 1, Aaron. I know that, right? Because so are the Packers. Okay.
Well, okay. Go ahead, Corey. Tell me what you got in this game.
Did you pick the Packers?
Me?
No. Yeah, you.
With all my Bears gear on? To go up and knock the Packers out of the playoffs?
I was out of the way.
To start out 1-6 and then go on a miraculous run,
Matthew,
led by their defense, who has the most takeaways since week 11 of any team in the NFL. Did I pick the Packers?
Matthew, did you also pick the Bears?
No, he took the Packers.
No, I got Green Bay.
Oh,
My ears died, so I got to do the phone now. So I'll mute it.
Yeah, mine did too. That's why I'm coming back in hot. This is the easiest pick I have ever made this entire year. I'm Baron Don.
Let's go.
Look, they're playing for certain shit right now, and they also could knock off their fucking rival right now. And I love it. I love every part of this right now.
It's history repeating itself.
No, it's not.
You guys
you're not the Detroit Lions, Aaron. You're not the Detroit Lions.
Okay. This team is talented. This team has their quarterback. This team will get a number one receiver next year. This team will get another number one offensive lineman next year. The Bears are at the point where they're going to just do work, knock Green Bay out so mad. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for it. I cannot wait. I've never rooted for the Bears more in my life than I am right now. Sorry, Kyle. The Bears are going to bear down, and they're going to win this game. Not just -3, -7.
Wait, you're taking the Bears -7?
Yeah.
Because they're +3 in this one.
I'm taking -7. They're only getting about 10.
I'm up.
That's extra.
That confident.
We're putting that on the graphic too.
Put it in parentheses.
Here's what I will tell you, because this is a playoff game. I mean, this is a win and you're in for Green Bay. There's still a chance they can get in if they lose. Please, Corey and Aaron, if Green Bay loses this game, don't text me. Don't call me.
We're not.
I get it from the other side so often. You'll never hear from me.
I need to be in my sorrows if that happens.
As a Pat fan, I also have never done that ever to anybody. But do you have a win and in 2 ways? I have no clue.
The Bears. They're
not the Bears. I'm talking about the Packers.
Packers are winning your in.
Can you lose or something?
They can lose and still get in, but they need a lot of help.
I didn't know that.
They need Seattle to lose. They need New Orleans to lose, and they would need Tampa Bay, I believe, to lose as well.
Okay. I didn't know you had multiple scenarios. So okay. Also, I still won't text you. Yeah.
And they need Minnesota to lose, I think, too, or something.
It's Detroit. Detroit needs that win anyway, so that's not going to be an issue, I don't think.
But before we move on to our final pick, Kyle, your quarterback, Jordan Love, did win NFC Player of the Week, offensive. And on the defensive side, Tyreek Stevens with 2 interceptions was the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. So we got them going head-to-head, and a lot on the line. Our final game, Sunday Night Football, the Buffalo Bills travel down to South Beach to take on the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are 3-point home underdogs. The over-under is 50. The money line for Buffalo is -166. For Miami is +140. And, fellas, I don't know which way to go on this one, so I'm going to let you guys talk me into one way or the other because I have no clue. Matt,
is Miami resting starters?
Huh?
Is Miami resting any?
No. This is for the AFC East. This is for the crown.
Okay. Well, then
I'm
going Miami. I'm going Miami. Sorry, I'm out.
You're going Miami +3. Okay, nice.
Yep.
I like it.
Go ahead, Corey.
Any reason why, Matt?
Just because I believe in what McDaniels is doing, and not McDaniels, Coach McDaniel. Excuse me, because we don't want to mix those guys up. Because I'm not a big Josh McDaniels fan, but I just think that they got it, and they have that talent, and he's got that. I don't know, difference about him. And I just think that offense, once it gets going, it's just something that's hard to stop. So I think that Miami can get it done. And I'm not a big Josh Allen fan. So that factors into it. So
wow, I've never heard anyone say they're not a Josh Allen fan.
I have a really hot take about him. I think that he will never lead them to the Super Bowl, and that's just my own opinion. I don't know why. And a lot of people hate me for it.
He does like to just chuck it and throw the ball into coverage sometimes.
You want to care to elaborate on that? Why you don't think he will do it?
I think his headphones.
Or just in general.
My headphones went. I don't know what's up with them because it says they have charges on them. But I don't know. At first, when I saw him play, like in his first few seasons, I kind of thought, okay, this could happen. But as it's gone on, and I've kind of seen it over and over again, I don't know. I think Stephon Diggs wants out. I just don't know if it's a problem with his leadership or what it is. But if you can't get it done with somebody like Stephon Diggs, who can you get it done with? So I don't know. I don't know. There's just a vibe I have that I just don't think he'll get it done. So it's just me, bro.
Go ahead, Corey. This is your division.
Yep, it's my division. Stephon Diggs is a bitch. If CeeDee Lamb was Josh Allen's fucking wide receiver, I can't imagine what they would do together. First of all. Second of all, I have a lot of futures on Buffalo, so that's a little different thinking right now.
True.
Miami's hurt right now. They're hurt. Their second best receiver is out.
Waddle.
And we don't know if he's coming back. Yeah, Waddle. We also don't know if Mostert, who it was the touchdown vulture of the year with, what do you have, 27, 23, something like that, touchdowns? He's gone.
Is he gone or?
Well, he was out last week. I don't know if
he was out last week. But I'm saying, like, then Tyreek Hill's house catches on fire. So we don't know what's going on here.
He's going to be playing mad.
Luckily for Miami's sake, this game is in Miami. I think that does help them because now it's a balmy 65 there, 70 degrees.
Humid.
Yeah, a little bit. And they're avoiding, apparently, the snow wave that's coming over in Buffalo. Everybody forgets that Buffalo has $80 million injured on their defense. Wow. And potentially additional $40 million that might be going to jail. Von Miller. So we don't know about that part per se. All of this to say, Buffalo is still technically the best team, I think, in this entire matchup. I'm definitely taking Buffalo -3. I think I still got Buffalo winning the AFC Championship.
I mean, Vegas likes your pick. They got them -166 on the money line. Go ahead.
I have them win the AFC Championship.
For me, when I said a few weeks ago that Miami was running a gauntlet with Dallas, Baltimore, and Buffalo, I didn't think that they would be 0-2 going into to play Buffalo. I also said that Buffalo was running a gauntlet, or not really a gauntlet, but that they could only lose one of their last so many games and still have a chance in the playoffs. And I thought they were going to lose to Dallas, and they didn't. If Pittsburgh wins, let me lay it all out for you real quick, because Miami has clinched a playoff spot. Buffalo has not.
Jacksonville.
If Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Houston, and Miami win, Buffalo is out of the playoffs. And we'll see Pittsburgh as the 7th seed with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
So wild.
Miami has it locked up. They are going to be
they'll be the 6th seed. Worst case scenario, they'll be 6th seed.
Right. They'll be the 6th seed if they lose this game. They'll be the 2 seed if they win.
Yep.
I think that Buffalo's playing for more here. Buffalo is playing for their lives because they need too much help to get in if they lose. Now, we could sit here and say, doesn't have to win the game for me to get this pick right. My pick has to win this game for me to get this pick right, and they got to win it by 3, and I think they do. With the way Miami's played the last 2 weeks, with the injuries that they've had, they are limping to the finish line right now. And we could see Miami make the playoffs and lose in the first round because of just the way things are going. Not to say Miami isn't a good team, because they are. They have been all season, but their health has been a really big problem for them. So
it's also one of the scenarios. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm taking Buffalo -3. Me and Corey, me and the drunk are running together.
I'm over talking everybody. I know. all the people that are injured on Dolphins. There's so many people injured right now. And then you have to win this game to get a 2 seed.
And
It's
also
hard.
Tyreek Hill, if he gets like 240 receiving yards, he breaks the record, I guess, for season. So
what's he at? What's he at right now? What does he need?
I think he needs 243 yards, which is obviously ridiculous, but it's not impossible.
So, well, Buffalo's given up on average 198 yards in the air a game. So this isn't the game to try to get. If they were playing Washington, yeah, maybe, right?
Yes. Yes.
But I don't think Tyreek is. I don't know what his ankle looks like. To Corey's point, I don't know how much his house really kind of affects his mentality. He could come out and play like a dog because his house is
him and Tua for 290 or something like that.
Are both running backs injured in Miami?
No, I think Devon Achan's still healthy, I believe.
Okay.
Mostert, I haven't seen an update about him about practice or anything.
As one of the last one I've seen, Mostert is not doing well to be in this game.
I mean, I like Achan, but who knows? We'll see.
So Achan is, from what the last one I've seen, Achan is not available, or Achan is available, questionable. Mostert is still not available. Jeff Wilson is still not available.
Oh wow,
that's of Wednesday. That's of
they've
Wednesday.
got Salvin Ahmed as well.
Did they sign P-Ron? Or somebody signed P-Ron. Somebody, I can't remember who. He was released.
Denver.
No. Denver released him. He was signed by somebody else.
I don't think he got released. Samaje?
Oh, yep. I'll check it out.
I know Dalvin Cook got released today, but
by the way, if Baltimore or San Fran does not pick up Dalvin Cook, they're morons.
Yeah, that would really help.
Both of them need
Baltimore. Wow.
But San Francisco. CMC can't play. Luckily for 20 days, but he's hurt. You need somebody up there.
I think Miami at home and the humidity, making Buffalo come down there, and the ability to keep them out of the playoffs if they win. I think Miami wants home field advantage in the playoffs. Give me Miami +3. And hot take, I think Raheem Mostert ends up playing. I think Tyreek Hill goes absolutely off. He's going to be pissed off that his house burnt down, and he's got to secure. Well, I guess he already secured the bag, but if he's got any incentives in that contract that he wants to hit, he's got to hit it this week so he can buy himself another house. And I'm sure houses aren't cheap down there on South Beach. Well, so give me Miami +3.
He's probably got insurance.
Hopefully.
He's also,
or he may have said, "Yeah, I don't need that. I got a bunch of money."
Yeah,
where his house is, he has very much insurance on it, so he will be okay, I think. Yeah. But it's still a freak factor of luckily his family got out and everything, but that's still a mind fuck to for being middle of the week, about to go into the biggest game of Miami's in the past two decades in Miami Dolphin history, to have this game it's a mind,
Yeah. Hopefully he's able to block all that out. It was so tough to pick 6 games this week because of all the playoff implications. Now they made it a little easier. I kept seeing stuff come out today of who was starting, who was sitting. I think Tyler Huntley's starting for the Ravens. You got Rudolph starting for the Steelers. You got all over the league who's starting, who's sitting. But I think we picked a good 6 games. I'm happy with most of my picks. I'm worried about the Carolina one, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm at 500 for the year. So
as we get even further into the year with fantasy football being over and everything like that, I think that I enjoy the off season of NFL more than I actually enjoy this season, just to see the come-ins and go-ins and who's getting drafted and who's going where, and to see the landscape of some of these teams change. Now, don't get me wrong, I love 23, 24 weeks of NFL football. But the offseason is also so exciting at the same time. granted, Green Bay never really did anything in the offseason, so it would always be like, oh, I'd love to get
That's why I was actually surprised that you're so excited about that. For your franchise to never do anything
and still be as good as it's always been. You're right. That's so weird.
Just draft and develop.
That's where I was going. That's exactly where I was going.
Just draft and develop. That's the Green Bay way.
But it's like playing Madden, you try to get guys and you watch guys go to different places and you try to understand why they're going. Yeah, it's just really fun. And honestly, I'm excited to watch to see what the Bears do this offseason. They said they're keeping Eberflus. I think that's a mistake, but to have the number 1 pick, I think that there's going to be chaos at the front of that NFL draft, and we'll get into that. We'll get into that later in the year and everything. But
quick question: if you, Aaron, Justin Fields and Eberflus, or neither, which one?
Just between those choices, I'm going to go with neither. I'll bring in Jim Harbaugh and I'll draft whomever they think is the best quarterback. I've told you guys all year I would love to have Jim Harbaugh as the coach of my franchise. Eberflus has gotten the defense together, but the offense is not great.
Also that shit is picking up on San Diego, by the way. It's picking up hard. It's picking up hard.
There's not a team in San Diego. Who are you talking about?
I'm sorry. The Chargers.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that.
Well, did the UFL put a team in San Diego?
I don't know. Did you see The Rock introduce
the Brahmas?
Stupid shit? Yeah.
Whoa, that's football.
That's not football. All right. Anyway, Matthew.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You won the most prestigious fantasy football championship. What's your last words, man?
My last words were, I should have asked Brad Johnson if he had any stories about crazy Bill Romanowski. I think that would have been pretty funny. So next time we're going to have to ask him about that.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you, Matthew, I mean, we appreciate really having you on tonight. And next year when we do the live draft, because we did the draft on the podcast and everything. You're here. You're with us. You're in the draft. You're in the live stream. We're going to have you on. We'll have Brad on. So
awesome.
Get your Bill Romanowski question ready for then, because we can't have our champ doing a live draft and not be on the stream with us.
Definitely.
Now, don't get too comfortable with my belt here, because me and Corey and Aaron, we're gonna come for it. We got to bring it back to the 12-ounce curl route family here.
Yes.
But to have you be our first outside champion, Hey,
I expect you to.
I was so sure one of you guys were going to take it, and I knew if I could just get past one of you guys that I had a shot. And then that the Damon guy, he came out of nowhere and just, made it to the championship. And I'm like, well, if I can make it, I can win it. So it happened. I made it there and got lucky with the Mozart thing. So I think if he would have started somebody else, I would have lost by maybe 0.3 or something weird, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, there was a mathematical. I already did that. Yes.
Yeah. So it's like 0.3.
Yeah, it was bad. It was close.
Yep.
That would have been wild. Before we get out, I did just see breaking news before I got on. Odell Beckham Jr. has rented a yacht. The Ravens have taken a bye week.
No, he hasn't. No, he didn't.
I promise you, I saw it.
Oh, no.
On X. Breaking news from X. Odell Beckham Jr. got him a yacht.
Please tell me at least Isaiah Likely's not there.
Ravens fans are saying, Lamar, don't get on the boat. So they're losing.
Lamar's been on the boat.
But that's it. I saw it, and I had to break the news on here. If it's not true, then you didn't hear it here. You heard it from random Twitter guy. But we'll get out of here, and then we'll come back next week and break all this down and start breaking down playoff matchups next week, fellas. The 6-pack challenge evolves into, we're going to pick every playoff game. So
conveniently, when they, I'm in the lead, they want to add playoffs to it, but that's cool.
Hey, I'll add as many games as I want to, Corey. But until next week, Corey, you can tell them what we say at the end.
Bye.